it's Kylie and welcome back to my channel. So this has been a very requested tutorial that I do, that I show y'all how to make felt eyes with the Cricut Joy. There's not very many people that show you how to make felt eyes, nevertheless, with the Cricut Joy, because let's face it, felt is not the easiest thing to cut with a Cricut. Have some guidance, it is very possible. So I'm going to show y'all these here real quick. These are a few designs that I just created in Cricut Design Space, and I'm actually going to have a project page in my Cricut Design Space. I'm going to make it public with these 4 designs on them already made, so you can go in there and use it and just size them to the size you want. But I'm also going to show you how to make them from scratch in Design Space too. So if you want to get creative and, you know, make them however you want to, there's so many ways you can customize these. It's just so much fun. But you can type in OkieGirlBling'n'Things or Kylie Keller on Cricut Design Space, and this project page should come up. And before we go any further in this video, if you have not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And I also want to mention that the pattern for these mini octopi is also on my blog. I will try to remember to link it below in the description. So if you want to make these cute mini octopi with the Premier Parfait Chunky yarn, that pattern will be on my blog for free also. And we'll jump right into this, and I'll show y'all what y'all need to make your very own felt eye. Okay, so what you'll need to make your felt eyes, you will need, of course, your Cricut. I'm using a Cricut Joy, but this same process should work for all your Cricuts. You will need some parchment paper. You will need a heat source. I am using my Cricut Easy Press Mini, although an iron would work. Just take the water out of it and put it on a cotton setting. You'll need a couple of stand grip mats. You will need, I have a Cricut mat here, or you could use a towel. And then you'll need some felt. I am using just the cheap, like 33-cent felt that comes from Hobby Lobby. It's nothing fancy. It's just that most inexpensive felt that they have. And then you'll need some iron-on vinyl. This is a great project to use scraps for, because you can do glitter, holographic, any kind of iron-on will work. And you're also going to need some Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. They sell this on Amazon, or you get it at your local craft store. I know Hobby Lobby has it. And you might want to save the packaging if you take it out, because it tells you how long to press it. So that is all you'll need to make your felt eyes. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, and something I want to mention before we go design our eyes is you're going to want to go over here and go to manage custom materials, because we're going to mess with our cutting pressure. I'm going to be using my Joy for this, so I'm going to select my Joy. Okay, so like I said, I'm using the cardstock, and I think it's called the heavy. Yes, it's the heavy cardstock 100 pound. That's what I'm using, and you can click edit. And I've already got the cutting pressure all the way up. So you want to go ahead, I think it's set on like 2 something as average, but you want to go ahead and crank it all the way up. And mine was already set on 3 times cutting, to cut it 3 times. So go ahead and make sure you set that and you save that. But mine's already set. And then we'll hop on over and I'll show you how to design the eyes. Okay, so I've pulled up, this is my project page in Design Space. It will have these 4 designs already on it if you go find that project page, but I will show you how to make them from scratch, and then you can just size them to however big. If you want to size them individually, you can go over here and click ungroup, and then if you want this one to be 1.5 inches, you can make it 1.5 inches. You know, you can do I'm gonna undo that, make it the same size as that one. So if you go find that project page, you'll have these 4 designs. But if you want to get fancy and design one from scratch, we'll start with this one up here. It's basically all circles. So I'm going to grab a couple circles here. And I'm going to grab this circle, and I'm just going to duplicate it a few times and make a few of them. So, and I'm just going to take, so I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to turn it black, because that's going to be the back felt part. And then I'm going to show you how to do this blue ring around the outside. I'm going to take this one and color it blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this black one and I'm going to shrink it down. And depending on how wide of a rim you want that blue, you can see, I mean, how much you want. If you want a thin one or a thicker one. I'm going to do about right there. And what you can do to make sure you get it exactly in the center, you can highlight both of them and go up here and hit a line and click center. And that will center it perfectly in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to slice it because I just want that little ring of the blue. So move that. So there is my blue ring. I don't need, or I can just keep these circles. This circle I had, I'll change it back to, it was 2 inches. There we go. So there's our felt piece. And then you can just, I want it on top. So I have to drag it over here. I have to drag it on the top because I want it to lay on top of this black piece so I can see. So, and you can highlight it again if you want to. And click center. And then it'll center it perfectly. So there's that. That's how you make the ring. And then I'll show you. So the other little pieces are just basically these dots. And we'll just color these white. And shrink them down. They don't have to be a specific size. It's basically you just have to eyeball it. And I want them up here though. I want them on top. So they'll go on top. And you're basically just whatever looks right. It's totally up to you. And if like the ones up here with the hearts and the stars, they're designed the exact same way. I just went over here to the shapes and I found a heart or a star instead. So, and then down here, if you are a Cricut Access member, they have different shapes and stuff. But they're made the exact same way, just with the hearts or stars in place. So I'm just gonna eyeball this. And, you know, whatever I think looks good. I'm going to shrink this one down. Make it smaller than that one. And I still want it a little bit smaller. There we go. And like that. And this one I'm going to color white also. And drag it up here to the top. And make this one really little. I'm going to make it smaller. So yeah, so you can just play with it and, you know, take your time with it and play with it. It takes longer really to design them than it does to actually cut and make them. So when you got wherever like you want like that, what you're going to do, so you can cut this white piece all as one piece and not 3 separate little pieces you have to line up, is I'm going to move my ring and then on the felt piece, and I'm going to highlight my white. No, I don't want the blue. I just want the white. And you're going to go down here and you're going to click weld. And that way, when I go to cut it, when I hit make it and go to cut it and put it on my mats, it'll cut it all as one piece and not 3 separate circles that I have to line up. Because that's just too much to have to line up all 3 of them. So that's a very important step. So I'm going to line this back up. And I want to put it back where I want it. So there's one eye, and I will grab it all, go up here, and you're going to group it. So then you can move the thing as a whole. And then what you're going to do, if you want to, for the other eye, just hit duplicate. And you're going to flip it. Go up here to the top, flip it horizontal, and then you have the other eye. So then you have a whole set of eyes. So like I said, the star and the heart is the same way. You just replace those. Okay, so now I'm going to show y'all how to make this design with the white and the blue in the middle there. And it's made out of, you guessed it, circles again. So I'm going to go over here and just make a few circles. And I'm going to duplicate that 4 or 5 times because I'm going to move these up here so I can see them. Okay, and then I'm just going to make, let's see, I'm going to make this one black. I'm going to make this one blue, and I'm going to make this one white. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to layer these on top of each other and splice them. So let's see, I will make, oh, I want that back too. I want these all to be the same size. Okay, so I want to make the white piece first. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put this black circle, drag it up here on the top because it's got to be on top. And I'm going to move it and you can pick however much white you want to show through. So if you want to be really thin or if you want it to be a lot. Because you kind of layer the blue on top of it. I'm probably going to do about like that much. And then you're going to grab the whole thing, both of those pieces, and you're going to go down here and slice it. Okay, so once you've sliced it, you can move these other pieces. It messed those up. I don't need those 3, so I'm just going to grab those 3 and delete them. So then I have my white piece. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay that on top of that blue, like that, and we're going to decide how much. I need this on the top here though. We're going to decide how much blue we want to show. If we want just a little bit or we want a lot. I kind of like probably about there. And I look like I'm a little bit off. There we go. There, so I like that. I'm going to grab this white piece, move it, because you can only slice 2 pieces together, and I don't want to mess that up. So I'm going to grab that, slice it again, and then I'm going to grab this blue piece and move it over there. And just delete those, because I don't need those now. So then I'm going to grab my other circle, change it to black, and I'm going to put this blue piece down first, because it's wider, and then the white, and I need to drag the white to the top here. Okay, so then the white, there we go, like that. So there's like that, this piece, I can't tell. Needs to be moved out just a little bit. Okay, like that. And then you just gotta make the little middles of the white like we did there. So I'm gonna grab a couple more circles. And I'm gonna turn it white. And you're just gonna do this like we done the other ones and size them down. And you could do hearts or stars or any shape you want to like that. If you want to make these like, I want to make these face up. I'll duplicate that. Grab it and make it tiny. And we'll duplicate that again. Make it tinier. And put it where I want it. So, like that. You can just figure out and set and line them up exactly where you want them. I'm not going to sit here and play that much longer because I'm just showing y'all. So once you get them where you want them, you're going to want to move the black piece. And you're also going to want to move this blue piece. And I might drag it to the top so I'll grab it easier. And you're going to want to move that. And then just grab all the white and weld it together so it'll be one cut on your mat. So you don't have to line up all 4 of those. And then after that, of course, you can line it back up, all that good stuff. Once you get exactly where you want it, highlight it all, group it, duplicate it, and then flip it horizontal. And you have a set of eyes. So that's that. Now I'm going to show you how to prepare the felt so that your joy will cut it. Okay, so for our felt, I've cut out a piece that will fit on my one of my mats, and we have to put some heat and bond on the back of the felt so it will stick to our mats, and this also helps so it'll stick better to your plushies. So I am going to roll out a piece, and I've already cut some here, and I'm just going to cut me a piece of heat and bond that will fit. Okay, so like I said, I'm using my Easy Press, and I have it just on the medium heat, and it is getting hot. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay the heat and bond on the felt with the rough side facing the felt and the smooth side facing up. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and what I've also done is I've grabbed a piece of parchment paper so I can put here under this, so when I press it, if this overlaps any, it won't get sticky stuff on my mat, or if you're using a towel or anything. So we're just going to line it up best we can on the back of the felt. And you're going to take it, and the instructions say to press it for 2 seconds. So you're basically just going to take it and just slowly, I just slowly move across. Because it like bonds almost like instantly. And I just slowly move across the whole thing. And you can see there that it's stuck there, not there. You can see kind of where you've done it. So I'm just going to keep going. Okay, and now I'm going to take my scissors and just trim this even with my felt. You wouldn't necessarily probably have to do this, but I don't know. I'm going to trim it even because that's just what I like to do. Okay. So now, once it's cool, you're going to take it and you're going to peel this layer off. You can get it to peel like so. And then it's going to leave this kind of slightly tacky maybe. It's not really like sticky, but it's kind of tacky. And you're just going to peel that off. But you want to make sure to save that piece that we just peeled off, that backing, because we'll use it later when we press our eyes so they don't stick to our mat. And this will help the mat grip the felt better. So I have here a mat that I have used for felt, you can see here. And I'm just going to lay it, on my mat. And that mat is prepared. So I'm going to go ahead and put my vinyl on my other mats. And then we're going to cut out the felt and the iron-on for the eyes and stuff. So you want to make sure you lay your iron-on with the glossy, shiny side down. So it will cut on the right side. If y'all have not cut iron-on before, just make sure that. And I've changed a couple of my colors to cut on the same mat. And I'm just going to line these all up here. Some of the ones that were the same, like, they're the same like that. And this glitter one, I have to change it and cut it on a harder setting because it's a little bit thicker. It's a little bit harder to cut. Okay, so I've got a couple of my mats loaded. I'm going to move my Cricut over here and we're going to cut it. And I will flip between Design Space and my Cricut cabinet, so just to explain everything. So once you get in Design Space, it's going to ask you how you're going to load your materials, and I'm just using a mat, and I'm using the 6.5-inch mat. So I'm just going to pick that and select that, and then I'm going to go ahead and move some of these onto the same mat that are just like the same kind of like iron-on, so I don't have to load 5 mats. So to do that, you're going to click the 3 dots and click Move Object. And then it's going to ask you which mat you want to put it on. And I'm going to put it over here with my white iron-on. And then you're just going to click Confirm. And it'll pop up there in the top left-hand corner. And you'll have to move it. But I'm going to grab some more of them. And then I'll move it. So you just click the one you want to move, the 3 dots, and Move Object. And we'll just get it back over here. So then that's less cuts I have to make. And I'm going to do that with a few more. And then when they're on the mats I want them, I'm just going to arrange them to where I want them to as where I'm going to put my vinyl. And I'm just going to move them all around here. And once everything's where you want it and your vinyl's on your mat, you can click Continue in the bottom right corner. And it'll need to connect to your Cricut. So make sure that it is plugged in and turned on so it can connect. Since this is the mat with all the iron-on it, I will select the Everyday Iron-On. And I am going to select that one. And then mirror it. I actually forgot to mirror it, so you can go back and click your mat and hit Edit. And you can mirror it. To be honest, I don't know if it makes much of a difference as to whether you mirrored or not. I have forgot to do this step before and still made my eyes, and they came out perfectly fine. So if you forget this step, you're probably okay, because I think the last ones I made, I forgot to mirror them and they were okay. So anyway, And then it's going to ask you to load your machine. And I'm going to put my stuff in my Joy and we're going to cut this. So I'm just going to put the mat into the Joy, and when it loads it, you can then press go in the bottom right hand corner after it aligns it, and it will cut all of our little shapes out. And then I'll go back over to Design Space and show you how to cut the felt, what setting to set on to cut the felt out. Okay, so we're now ready to cut our felt. So if you'll remember earlier in the video, we went and we changed the pressure we're using, and we are using the heavy card sock setting. So we've already changed our pressure, and we're going ahead and make this and click more because we want a lot of pressure to make sure it cuts through this. And then we're going to go ahead and load our felt into our Cricut, and then we're going to cut it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and peel the felt off the mat, and it should peel away clean like this. If it doesn't, one just tried to stick a little bit and I just stuck it back. But if it doesn't, there's a couple things you can do to make sure it cuts correctly. Number one, I'd make sure that your blade is clean, and I'll show you here in a minute what I mean. Number two is you can always go back into the cut settings where we set the pressure and it cuts 3 times. You can always tell it to cut 4 times instead of 3. And if you've never cut felt, I would highly recommend doing a test cut before you try to cut out all your eyes and make sure you get a clean cut. So I'll show you here what I meant by the blade being clean. I pulled it out after I cut my felt, and you can see just how much felt is stuck to it. So you want to make sure you wipe it off and blow it out even after you cut anything with it, but especially felt. It really gets dirty with felt fast, so you want to make sure it's clean so it'll cut better. Now that we've cut out all of our designs, I'm just going to weed all the pieces and then cut them into each individual little section. So I'll just speed through this process here, and then I'll show you how I press my eyes. Okay, so I've laid my mat down. You could also put down a towel. And I have put down the piece of the backing that we pulled off of the heat bond earlier. So when we press these eyes, we don't glue them to the mat, because if you don't put that down, they'll be stuck to the mat and they're probably not going to come off. So you can now just align. I'm going to put the little rings. I'm going to do the one with the little rings around the eyes first. And I'm just going to line those up. And my Cricut, my little mini easy press, is set on the medium setting. Then just lay a piece of parchment paper over them, and we're going to press them for roughly probably 3 to 4 seconds, so not very long. And then you can take them off depending on what type of iron-on you're using, whether you let them cool before you try to peel them. I'm just going to peel them while they're hot if it comes off. If you go to peel it and it doesn't want to come off, you can press it for a couple more seconds. And then I'm going to get the middles. I'm going to pick which middles I'm going to use. And I am going to line them up. And then we're just going to press it. We're going to layer parchment paper over the top of that. And we're going to press that for another 3 or 4 seconds. And then once it's done, we'll move the parchment paper and we'll peel them off. And you can check your iron-on. It'll tell you whether it's a cool peel or a hot peel. And I'm just going to peel these off real quick. And there you have your first set of eyes. So that's how easy they are. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to line up and do this second design that we done. So I will be doing the white first, iron it on first. So you're just going to line it up and get it where it needs to go. And you'll press it the exact same way that we pressed the other ones. And we'll press these 3 to 4 seconds like the other ones. It doesn't take very long at all. And then peel it off. You can see me waving it there to try to cool them down, because mine was, I threw the label away, so I'm not sure if my iron-on was cool or warm peel, and I didn't look it up, so it peeled easy or cool. And then you'll just line the blue part over the white part. It's okay if it overlaps the white part some, that's totally fine. So you just line it up like that and press it another 3 to 4 seconds. And then once you peel the plastic off, you have another pair of cute little felt eyes. And that is how easy it is to make these felt eyes. To attach them to amigurumi, I just use a hot glue gun. I've heard some people use fabric glue. I have not tried that personally, but the hot glue gun works great for me. Be sure and tag me if you use this tutorial to make your own felt eyes. I would love to see them. And be sure and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And like this video. And y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this. And y'all will make a bunch of felt eyes yourself. Happy crafting.